All right, buckle up, everybody, because today, on the deep dive, we're diving headfirst into the world of Formula One.
Sounds exciting.
Oh, it is. We've got some juicy intel fresh off an F1 blog about Aston Martin's secret weapon. You guessed it, the one and only Adrian Newey.
Now that's a name that sends shivers down the spines of rival teams.
You can say that again.
And
And get this, he's already making waves even before officially joining the team.
yeah, that's right. He's currently on what's called gardening leave from Red Bull. Basically, it's a mandatory break between jobs in F1.
Uh-huh, so that's what gardening leave means. So no jumping straight from one team to another then.
Exactly. They want to prevent, any sensitive information from leaking between competitors.
Makes sense. Got to keep those secrets under wraps. But even from the sidelines, Newey's implemented some pretty radical changes, right?
You bet. This blog highlights how he's essentially split the Aston Martin factory right down the middle.
Whoa, split in two. Like what, one side for the 2025 car and the other for the 2026 car?
Precisely. One camp focused on honing the current car, the other dedicated to developing the 2026 car under the new regulations. Clever, huh?
Talk about playing the long game.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, how does that even work in practice? You got two teams basically working under one roof.
Think of it as parallel design and development streams, Each team with a degree of autonomy, laser focused on their specific objectives. No toe-stepping allowed.
Ah, so streamlined workflow, specialized expertise, that kind of thing.
You got it. It could even speed up the development process for both cars, potentially.
That's a pretty slick move. Almost like having two separate teams but under one Aston Martin banner.
Exactly. Efficiency is key in F1, my friend.
Absolutely. But is Newey just the brains behind this grand strategy, or he get his hands dirty too?
Oh, he's definitely rolling up his sleeves. The blog spills the beans. Newey's diving headfirst into the 2025 season.
Really? How so?
He's personally overseeing a major upgrade package for the Aston Martin car at the Imola Grand Prix, the 6th race on the calendar. Hands-on approach, that's Newey all over.
Wow, so we're not just talking strategy. He's down in the trenches tinkering with the car too. Imola. Why is that upgrade so critical? Just for those few extra tenths of a second on the track.
It's much bigger than that. Imola is a make-or-break moment for Aston Martin this season. It's their chance to make a statement and gather crucial data.
I see, so a stepping stone to those long-term goals they have.
You got it. The Imola upgrade is as much about setting the stage for future success as it is about immediate performance gains.
Smart move. But hang on, the blog also mentions that this Imola upgrade is the last one Newey's going to personally work on for the 2025 car. Why is that?
Well, after Imola, his focus shifts entirely to the 2026 car. Makes sense when you think about it. New regulations, clean slate. It's a chance to shake up the F1 world.
Right, 2026 is a whole new ballgame, so Newey's going all in on that, huh?
Exactly. And with his expertise, Aston Martin could be a real contender when those new rules kick in.
That's got to be putting some serious pressure on them to nail this Imola upgrade.
Oh, absolutely. They're walking a tightrope, especially with the memory of last year's Imola upgrade debacle still fresh in everyone's minds.
Oh, yeah. What happened there? Did something go wrong?
Big time. Their much-hyped upgrade package backfired, actually hindered the car's performance.
Ouch, that's got to hurt.
It had a ripple effect on their season, So this year, it's not just about improvement, it's about redemption, too.
No pressure then.
They got to prove they've learned from those past mistakes and can deliver a solid, effective upgrade.
So this Imola upgrade isn't just about technical improvements, it's symbolic almost. A test of their capabilities.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about restoring confidence, showing the world that Aston Martin is a force to be reckoned with.
The stakes are high. It's a real make-or-break moment for them, isn't it?
In many ways, yeah. This Imola upgrade embodies their ambitions, their aspirations. It's a chance to show they're ready to play in the big leagues.
Now, before we get too carried away, there's one little detail the blog mentions that I found interesting. The 2025 car, the AMR25, it's mainly Dan Fallow's design, not Newey's.
Ah, yes, that is interesting. Dan Fallows is a brilliant engineer in his own right. Came over from Red Bull, played a key role in shaping that car.
So with Newey coming in and focusing on 2026, we've got two top minds, two different visions, potentially.
It's a fascinating dynamic, isn't it? Will they be a dream team, or will their ideas clash?
Talk about a clash of titans.
Yeah.
And speaking of clashes, the blog drops a bit of a bombshell about Aston Martin's performance this season.
Oh, what's that?
They're predicting the team will likely start the year where they finished last year, somewhere between 7th and 9th place. Not exactly a stellar start, especially with all the Newey hype.
Well, Formula One is a humbling sport, Expectations don't always match reality. Even with a maestro like Newey, it takes time.
So are we getting ahead of ourselves with all this talk of Aston Martin dominating?
Maybe a little. It's not just about having a brilliant designer. You need a cohesive team, a solid infrastructure, a well-oiled machine, basically.
So Newey's the spark, but the whole team needs to ignite for them to really succeed.
Exactly. It's about how his ideas are implemented, how quickly they translate into results on the track. Formula One is a complex beast, you know?
Definitely not a one-man show.
Nope. But one man can make a heck of a difference. And that man, in this case, is Adrian Newey.
No doubt about it. So we've got Aston Martin, predicted to start in the midfield, but aiming for the stars, with Newey at the helm. Talk about a story full of potential and intrigue.
It's a classic underdog tale, isn't it? And we're all eager to see how it unfolds.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. Formula One is so much more than just fast cars and daredevil drivers.
Oh, absolutely. It's a strategic battle, a technological marvel, and a constant test of human ingenuity.
And with Newey on board, Aston Martin is ready to throw down the gauntlet and challenge the status quo.
They're making a bold statement. The question is, can they back it up?
That's what we'll be watching for. And on that note, let's take a quick break, grab a drink, and come back to explore the other fascinating angles of this Aston Martin saga.
Sounds like a plan. I'm ready for round two.
Yeah, it really is a captivating story. We were talking about this split factory approach and how it allows Aston Martin to juggle both the 2025 and 2026 seasons.
Right. Two birds with one stone, basically.
Yeah, but it's not just about dividing resources, It's about fostering two completely different mindsets within the team.
Oh, interesting. So like two teams, two different approaches to the sport.
Exactly. On one side of the factory, you've got the team laser-focused on the current car, squeezing every last drop of performance out of the AMR 25, working within the existing regulations.
I can imagine the pressure they're under. Every race is a battle for those precious points.
It's a constant race against time, for sure. They're fine-tuning, optimizing, pushing the boundaries of that car.
And on the other side of the factory. That's where the 2026 team comes in. They're operating in a world of unknowns, a blank canvas. It's all about blue sky thinking, exploring uncharted territory, potentially revolutionizing Aston Martin's design philosophy.
So the 2025 team is all about precision, incremental gains, while the 2026 team is about radical innovation, right?
You got it. Two different mentalities, two different sets of challenges.
I wonder how Newey navigates that, going from one team to the other after Imola.
It's a unique leadership challenge, that's for sure. He's got to inspire and motivate both teams, keep them aligned with Aston Martin's overall goals.
It's not just about designing cars, it's about shaping the culture, the DNA of the team.
Precisely. He's an engineer, a leader, a mentor, and now a cultural architect.
Speaking of key players, let's talk about Fernando Alonso. The blog mentions his hopes for podiums this season.
Yes, Fernando, the man, the myth, the legend.
He's got that fire in his belly, that hunger for success. But is a podium finish realistic, given their predicted starting position?
Well, Fernando's not known for settling for mediocrity, that's for sure. And he wouldn't have joined Aston Martin if he didn't believe in their potential.
True, he's a two-time world champion after all.
But can they bridge that gap to the front? That's the million-dollar question.
Teams like McLaren and Ferrari are tough competition. They're not going to back down easily.
You're absolutely right. It's a steep climb. But Fernando's ambition is contagious. It can lift the entire team.
So his presence is a boost for morale, a driving force.
Absolutely. When you've got a champion pushing you, you raise your game.
But even with Alonso's drive and Newey's genius, are podiums a bit of a stretch goal for 2025?
Well, Formula One is full of surprises, isn't it? A well-timed safety car, a brilliant strategy call, anything can happen.
So you're saying we shouldn't rule anything out?
Exactly. That's the beauty of this sport. It's unpredictable.
So while a 7th to 9th starting position might not scream podium contender, Fernando's presence and a bit of F1 magic could shake things up.
That's what keeps us on the edge of our seats, right?
Absolutely. Now, the blog also mentions Alonso's ultimate ambition, a championship contending car in 2026.
Yes. The dream of every driver to fight for the championship.
Is that a realistic goal for Aston Martin, or is it just wishful thinking?
Well, the 2026 regulations are a game changer. It's a chance for teams to close the gap, and with Newey at the helm, Aston Martin could be in a prime position.
So Alonso's ambition isn't completely out of reach?
Not at all. It's a new era, a blank slate. And with Newey's track record, who knows what's possible?
It's exciting, isn't it? The potential, the possibilities.
Absolutely. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Building a championship-winning car takes time, resources, and a whole lot of hard work.
What kind of challenges do they face in achieving this ambitious goal?
Well, they need to attract and retain top talent, for starters. They need to invest heavily in their infrastructure and technology, and they need to build a culture of excellence from the ground up.
It's a monumental task. A whole ecosystem needs to be in place to support Newey's vision.
You're exactly right, but if they get it right, who knows? Aston Martin could be a serious contender.
So we have this interesting situation, Aston Martin starting in the midfield, but with their sights set on a championship. It's a story of ambition, potential, and the pursuit of greatness.
And it's a story that's just beginning to unfold. The next few seconds will be crucial for Aston Martin. They have a chance to rewrite their narrative.
This deep dive has been illuminating. I'm starting to appreciate the complexity of Formula One. It's not just about speed, it's about strategy, innovation, and the human element.
You've hit the nail on the head. Every detail matters. Every decision has consequences. And with Newey's arrival, Aston Martin has thrown down the gauntlet.
They're ready to challenge the status quo. It's a bold move, a declaration of intent.
It's going to be fascinating to see how they navigate the challenges ahead.
Yeah, it's a real high-stakes game for sure. I'm still wrapping my head around all the different factors that make a team successful in Formula One.
It is a lot to take in, isn't it? We've talked about strategy, the team, resources, even having a leader like Adrian Newey.
Right, those are huge. But there's one thing we haven't really touched on, and I think it's key in F1 innovation.
You're absolutely right. Formula One is constantly evolving. It's all about pushing the boundaries of technology.
Exactly. So where does this constant innovation fit into Aston Martin's plans?
Well, it's fundamental to their success, isn't it? They're not just trying to keep up. They want to be the ones leading the pack.
Yeah, they want to leapfrog the competition.
That's the goal. And that takes a culture of innovation, you know? They got to be willing to challenge the norms, experiment, and maybe even fail a few times.
So it's not just about small steps forward, it's about those big, game-changing innovations.
Exactly. It's about finding those breakthroughs that give them that edge over everyone else.
Right, but innovation is risky, right? You're basically going into uncharted territory, trying things that might not work.
You got to take risks to make progress. You got to be willing to learn from those failures and come back stronger.
I guess that makes Aston Martin's journey a reflection of what Formula One is all about, constantly pushing the limits.
Absolutely. It's a never-ending cycle of innovation. Every team is trying to outsmart the other. It's a technological arms race, you know?
So going back to that Imola upgrade, what kind of innovations might we see from Aston Martin? I mean, they're obviously keeping things hush-hush.
Of course, they're not going to reveal their secrets just yet. But based on what we know, I'd say Newey's probably focusing on a few key areas.
Like what?
Aerodynamics is always a big one. We might see some crazy new wing designs or some clever underbody tweaks, all about maximizing downforce and reducing drag.
Right. Got to make that car stick to the track while slicing through the air like a hot knife through butter.
Exactly. And then there's the power unit. We could see some clever optimizations to the fuel system, the combustion process, maybe even the energy recovery system. Squeeze every bit of power out of that engine.
Got to have that power and efficiency. What else?
Oh, there's the suspension, the brakes, the gearbox. Every part of the car is a potential area for innovation.
Sounds like they're leaving no stone unturned.
They're in it to win it, that's for sure. Every tiny improvement can make a huge difference in Formula One.
It's amazing how much attention to detail goes into these cars.
It's a testament to the engineering brilliance of this sport. Every tenth of a second matters.
So, looking ahead to the rest of the season, and even beyond, what are you most excited to see from Aston Martin?
Well, I'm really curious to see how Newey's influence changes the team, you know? Can he create that winning culture, that relentless pursuit of excellence?
Yeah, will they start taking more risks, trying bolder things? It's almost like a big experiment, seeing what Newey can do with this team.
It is. And then there's the whole Newey-Fallows dynamic. Two brilliant minds working together, maybe even competing a little.
It's a clash of the titans, for sure. And we can't forget about Fernando Alonso. How's he going to handle the pressure?
Oh, he's a fierce competitor. He'll thrive under pressure, I'm sure of it. It's a fascinating mix of personalities, goals, and ambitions.
It's all unfolding against the backdrop of one of the most demanding sports in the world. It's pretty incredible.
Formula One never disappoints.
Well, this deep dive has been a wild ride. We've learned so much about Adrian Newey's strategy, Fernando Alonso's drive to win, that all-important Imola upgrade, and Aston Martin's big dreams.
It's a story full of twists and turns, and we're all hooked, waiting to see what happens next.
So the big question remains, Can Aston Martin really challenge the giants, like McLaren and Ferrari? Can they rise to the top with Newey leading the way? Only time will tell.
That's the beauty of Formula One, isn't it? The uncertainty, the drama, the constant possibility of an upset. It keeps us all coming back for more.
Well said. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the heart of Formula One.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time, keep those engines revving.